Shalom. Call Haloyim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachak Wadash Shanyukabad Gadwala Requab Zequanium Nawa Wa Shalayakim Nawa. That's double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Shalom, Wa Barakim Labakonyam Shalayasharala, and that's peace and blessings to the elect of Israel. Just wanted to make a quick video here concerning faith. One of the big topics that we're always touching on, considering the times that we're coming into. And it's really in the form of a question. And it's in the form of a question towards these other camps. And I guess anybody that has a similar mentality. Because majority of these camps do not push faith on the same scale that we here at GMS push faith. The scriptures say that basically through our faith is the way that we're going to make it through this. Our faith and our works, because they go hand in hand. But oftentimes we're mocked and laughed at because we talk about faith so much. We push it so much. But my question, as you can see, is faith not good enough? Is that not good enough? Is there something else that's necessary? Do we need anything else? And of course, they talk about the law, and they make it seem as if we say not that to keep the law, and that's not true. All we say is that we are in a time in which we can only rehearse the righteous acts, as it says. And therefore, we do establish the law. However, you do it to the best of your capabilities. Faith is how we're going to receive salvation, and that's what we push. We keep the laws to the best of our capabilities, but faith is how we're going to receive salvation. So, is faith not good enough? Now, to my surprise, when I typed in the word faith and just searched the Old Testament, it only comes up twice. If you were to type in faithful or faithfulness, then it pops up a whole bunch more times in the Old Testament. Now, the book of Habakkuk, when it talks about faith, is referring to these Edomites, right? Deuteronomy chapter 32 is referring to Israel. So we're going to read Deuteronomy 32 starting at verse 16. Starting at verse 16, and we'll read down to verse 20. Verse 16 says, "They provoked him to jealousy. With strange gods, with abominations provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not to the Most High, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that came newly up, whom your fathers feared not. Of the rock," that's talking about Yahweh Shai, "of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and hast forgotten the Most High, or the power that formed thee. And when the Lord Yahweh saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and of his daughters." Now verse 20. "And he said, I will hide my face from them. I will see what their end shall be. For they are a very forward generation," and forward right here means perverse or wicked. "For they are a very forward generation, children in whom is no faith." The Most High said, because we're a perverse generation and we have no faith, therefore he's going to hide his face from us. And what happened after he hid his face from us? We went from captivity to captivity to captivity. Of course, the most notable one being the transatlantic slave trade, in which our people are constantly reminded of here in America, here in Babylon the Great. And so that's the reason why we went into slavery. At the end of the day, yeah, we can say the curses, we disobeyed the Most High's laws, absolutely, and that's a part of his story. But the overarching theme here is we didn't have any faith. We lacked faith. And that's the reason why. That's also a part of the reason why I'll say our people weren't keeping the laws. they just said, oh, we have these lambs, we have all these goats, and we can just sacrifice these goats and these clean animals, and we can commit sin, but we have these animals, so blah, blah, blah. We can just keep doing the same sin over and over, committing iniquity and sacrificing these animals. And once again, the Most High got tired of it. He got tired of that sin. Our people just lacked faith. That's what it was. They lacked faith. They seen the miracles that the Most High performed at the hand of Moses when we were delivered out of Egypt. They seen the chariot watching over them, guiding them through the wilderness. But they continued to mock and scorn at Moses and Aaron, to the point where what? The Most High had that wicked generation die off those 40 years in the wilderness. Why? Because they lacked faith. That's what it was all about. At the end of the day, it was always about faith. That's what the Most High wanted. Now, could he have just given us faith? Of course. That's what Ezra was talking about. Like, why couldn't you just have this go some other way? Why'd you have to do it like this and put us in captivity? That's what Ezra was asking. I believe in like the 4th chapter and maybe the 5th or the 3rd. But the Most High didn't have it planned that way. He wanted his story to come out this way, to where we went through captivity. We have his only begotten Son. We have to call on him and have faith in him. And through having faith in Yahawashi, that's how we're being reconciled back to the Heavenly Father. So, anyway, made that long rant because I wanted just to make that point. And, these are, it's not super deep, but these are things that you come to realize as you read all throughout the scriptures and you're just going back and forth. Let me do this. I'm going to grab Galatians chapter 2. And let me see. Yeah, we'll just get right to the point. Verse 16. It says, knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law. Like, you may be thinking, like, hold on. We went into captivity. We went into slavery because we broke the law. Like, that's what it says. Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. Like, if you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments and these judgments, you're going to be blessed. But then verse 15 says, if you break them, these curses, verse 16 through 68, will happen unto you. So it's like, hold on. We're not justified by the law, but you want us, now you're saying, we went into captivity because we didn't keep the law. So now we're not justified by it? What's going on here? It makes you kind of ask some questions, right? But we have to keep reading. Knowing that a man is not justified by the works of the law, but by the faith of Yahawashi HaMashiach. Even we have believed in Yahawashi, that we might be justified by the faith of the Messiah, HaMashiach, and not by the works of the law. For by the works of the law shall no flesh be justified. Why? Because then all we're doing is repeating that perpetual history over and over and over again. The Most High had to do something different. That was his plan, to do something different, to give us his only begotten Son. Because what? Through the works of the law, our minds weren't purified. By sacrificing those animals over and over and over again each year, it didn't change the mental aspect of, I'll just say, of the game, man. It didn't change anything mentally inside of us. And that's why Yahawashi came. Our mind was purged of these dead works that did nothing for us. And now through our faith in Yahweh Shai, now we're being forced in a way to keep the laws to the best of our capabilities. Because now it's like, hey, if you believe in me, then keep the laws. And why would we not want to keep the laws to the best that we can? We're not eating unclean foods. Why? Because that's something that we can have control over. We're not getting shape-ups and lineups. Why? Because we have control over that. Now, are we putting homosexuals to death? Of course not. Why? Because we don't have control over that. We're not sovereign. We're not in our own land. So the point here is that we're to believe and have faith in Yahweh Shai, and that's good enough. That's it. That's all the Most High, Yahweh, and His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, want to see. They want to see you showing forth your faith. And through your faith, your mind should be changed. You should have a different mindset now. And that's why the scriptures talk about being holy, being separate. You're not classified in the same, at the same level as these people in the world. Check this out. Hebrews 9 verses 12 through 14. Neither by the blood of goats and calves, but by his own blood, talking about Yahweh Shai, he entered in once into the holy place, having obtained eternal redemption for us, because he only had to sacrifice himself once, not repeatedly over and over and over again, like those animals each year by the Levites. Verse 13. For if the blood of bulls and of goats, and the ashes of an heifer, sprinkling the unclean, sanctify after the purifying of the flesh, because that's all it did. It worked towards the flesh, not our mind. It says, how much more shall the blood of Yahweh Shai, the Messiah, who through the eternal Spirit offered himself without spot to God, purge your conscience from dead works to serve the living God. So I basically jumped the gun and just explained all that. But here it is right here. Faith in Yahweh Shai is enough. That's all we need. And more importantly, that's all the Most High required. If he had written the story to where he said, you have to be perfect in faith and also be perfect in these 7 laws right here, then, okay, that's what it says. That's what's written. That's the story. And that's what we would be forced to teach. But that's not what it says. Faith in Yahweh Shai is good enough. And that's all we need. That's the way we're going to make it out of here. Now, one more precept, because, this doesn't need to be a long topic. It's nothing super deep either. Let me see. I'm either thinking of 2nd Ezra 9 or 15, but I'm going to find it through the Spirit. I'm going to find it. Oh, yeah, it's right here. Barakatah Yahweh Yahweh Shai. This is 2nd Ezra 9. I'm going to read verses 6 and 7 and probably maybe 8. So it says, verse 6, even so the times also of the highest have plain beginnings in wonder and powerful works and endings and effects and signs. So that's why we always prophesy. We watch the signs and we link it to what the Bible says will be happening in the end days. That's how we know we're living in the end days, right? Verse 7, and every one that shall be saved and shall be able to escape by his works, and by faith, whereby ye have believed, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation. Your faith and your works go hand in hand. You can't just claim, oh yeah, I believe in your company, but then you're not putting in any work, and you expect them to give you equity? You expect them to give you a portion of the profits when they start making money just because you claimed you had faith in the company, in their business model, in their idea? No, you have to put forth some work. Show me some sweat equity. Get out here, grind with us, work these overnight shifts, create the business plan, create the marketing model, do something. Show me, put in work, show me you believe. So it's going to be by our faith and also by our works that we're going to receive salvation. But faith, though, that's the number one thing. That's all we need to make it out of here. And it's good enough. I posed that question, but once again, like I have before, it's a rhetorical question to get your mind thinking, right? Verse 8 to finish it out says, shall be preserved from the said perils, and shall see my salvation in my land and within my borders, for I have sanctified them for me from the beginning, right? So I pray that this video was edifying to the elect. Call Halayim Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rachak Udash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the elect. Shalom.